When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gane, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gane.
And this week we have part 2 of how to manifest a great partner, which we started to dive into last week. And there's just so much that we are going to continue it this week.
I love it. I'm excited because we get to talk about all the ways that we practiced being each other's partners.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What are you excited about, Cass?
I am excited about all the awesome stuff opening up in my business and just the inspiration that has been hitting and getting clear. And I love the process. I love the way this stuff works. It always works. And it always works in ways that I don't necessarily see coming, but are awesome. And so I will tell you now, if you want to get in the Enchanted Circle at, a steal, you join now.
Because it's going up.
It is going up. And it was so inspired. And I love being the example of that, of, knowing when to raise your price, business owner, like this is always a thing. And there's all these things out there about, when do you raise your prices and when you're sold out or when you're this. And it's like, no, when you're aligned and it's inspired, that's when you raise your prices.
I mean, that's just like the ultimate business answer to everything.
It really is.
Yeah.
We should do a whole show on that.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited. And it's not about like the raising. It's about how it happened. It's about how I feel about it. It's about how certain I feel about the investment to work with me for 5 years. Like I know without a doubt, when you work with me, you will have a different life 5 years from now.
Yeah. We were talking about this before. And, first I just want to mention, I think it's cool that, Cass, you mentioned how when you're following inspiration, you still don't know. There are times when you're like, I don't know how this is going to unfold. And so even after years of practicing this stuff, it's not like we get any great insights before you guys get them. Like that is just always how it works. That's what trusting the unknown is like. You open the space, you create the space, you be the person, and it comes. But you don't get to know. You never get to know the universe's plan ahead of when it happens. You can sense it, you can feel it, but the better you get at this, or the more consistent you get at this, doesn't mean you get some secret access to knowledge.
Right. Or that you get to see the plan, because the truth is the plan shifts when you shift.
Yeah.
And we unknowing, it becomes unknowing, right? I think in the beginning of this work, everyone's trying to speed up the process. But what happens when you just get in the work and you're in it and you're doing it because you know you're getting where you want, you unknowingly, which is what I believe happened with me, I unknowingly sped up the process.
That's cool.
And
that
which
makes
is
sense.
really fun. Yeah. To be like, oh yeah, nope, this is here today. This is the time. This is the moment. And which is so fun because it's who we're being. And when we're being different and we step up and we step in differently, we collapse all the other possibilities. And which just leaves, the bigness, that next big step. So
yeah. And you can feel it.
You can feel it, and it's so exciting. And it doesn't have to happen. We're going to do a whole show on this. It doesn't always happen when things are all like perfect. It generally happens for me, it was a very like sneaky isn't the right word, but it just kind of snuck up on me. Like it wasn't a focus. It wasn't in anything. And one day I was like, yeah, this is what's happening. This is inspired.
Yeah. We have a few times around this time of year, like next few months, we talk about the power of a year, like what can happen in a year. And the power of the next one is like the power of 3 years, but the big one is the power of 5 years. And I can like so confidently say and I feel like Cass can too, like everything I wanted 5 years ago, I have. You know, it's
Yes.
not like the experience you are creating right now that you think is way out there, you can create it in 5 years. It doesn't have to take that long. But it generally, we like the journey, so we let it unfold at a certain pace. But it's just, there is magic in 5 years, and I think until you've been doing this work for 5 years, it's not going to feel you won't be as confident in that because you don't have the actual experience. But for all our listeners who are either starting, or I know we have listeners that have been through us for the beginning, which has been 5 years ago.
Yes.
Keep doing it. Keep going. Trust the process of this stuff.
Absolutely. Because it's amazing. And I 100% have everything I wanted 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, I'm going to say, just to be like, there are things I would write, like having millions of dollars that I don't have yet and having that dream house yet. But I have the entire experience I want. I have the abundance. I have the freedom. And so I just know, okay, well, that's, next part of it will come. But I'm not lacking anything. So.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I was actually going to add that too, is the amount of money I make, but what is here now, because I was just sort of some people have heard, like, it wasn't a flippant intention, but it was just kind of came out of nowhere. I make $500,000 for my bed and my balcony.
Yeah.
And when I think about that, I'm like, oh, it's not totally here, but I'm like, oh, but I know how it's getting it. I can see it. Like, literally, I can see the pieces of it. And I was doing some math literally yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, there it is. Like, and it's not hard. It's not hard. It's not a forced. It's like, oh yeah, that's happening. That's happening. It might take another couple years, but I can see it and I know it, and it's certain. And whether you can see it or you just know it's coming because everything else is here, like, 5 years of everything you want.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exciting. I don't know if that was like an extra plug for your course, Cass. But I love it.
I love it too. It wasn't totally meant to be, but
wasn't intentional.
Thanks. I know. But thanks for plugging the 5 years, Jen.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What are you excited about? Other than having everything you wanted 5 years ago.
I know, right? Well, one of the things that I guess this kind of fits in. I didn't see it happening this soon, but we're having the whole family over for Christmas so my mom, my dad, and my brother, and we're gonna be hosting Gane Christmas, and it's so exciting. I've never hosted a Gane Christmas in my own home, so it's really exciting. And what's the other part that is exciting is, how when people are coming over, you like get your house nice.
Yes.
So we're like, doing all these little things that we wanted to do that just haven't, been a priority. And so we just got a whole new fence. We're redoing the backyard. We're putting up this super cute little tiki hut decking area on the side yard. So we're going to have lots of like outdoor entertainment space, and it's nice and cool in Florida right now. And when I say cool, I mean like it's perfect. It's wonderfully warm temperature. So we have our garage gym, and so I feel excited about like that happening, and just excitement about being hosts of a family. It's a new experience, so that's good.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
And I have I can map out the whole 10 season or 10 episode like Netflix series just based on the Gane Christmas in my head.
Well, when you write that and you sell it, I will take a commission on that.
Awesome.
All right, so let's get back into, let's maybe summarize what we covered last time so the key to manifesting a great partner is to be a great partner. And Cass and I talked about how instead of kind of finding your person your goal, you follow your passion, or you become financially independent, or you become the healthiest version of yourself, like kind of taking the focus off actually the thing you want and going and being the partner you want in another area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Frees up that energy, and also that beingness is the attraction factor. When you are being it, both being it and being able to receive it. I think that gets left out a lot, is the being able to receive it. You can't just be thoughtful. You have to be able to receive thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
Someone must have that on their list, because I don't feel
I
like
know,
I've
I'm like,
ever
that keeps
used that
coming
term
up.
before. Yeah, but it keeps coming up.
All right. So where else do you want to go with this?
Well, I think we wanted to start back in on talking about how you can practice being a great partner with your friends and your family and all of that. And then I know that we definitely want to hit big a little bit on vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yes.
So
because it's so important for manifesting a relationship and a great partner.
yes, if you're someone who's after depth.
Yes.
But I feel like all of our listeners would be.
I know. I don't feel like any of our listeners are like, please give me just a generic relationship.
Just a really hot guy.
Yeah. And if that's what you want, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm, yeah.
So I love the thing you said when we were chatting before about making that list. It's not, what did you say? It's not, all the things you want. Like, what is, how do you know who to be? Oh, ask yourself, what are the things you want? And that's how you that's like a great place to start.
Yes. And then hold that list up to yourself sort of as a mirror. And so, am I being this? And when there are things that are receiving, am I able to receive those things? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that what you want talking about, the mirror or the wants and the needs?
Yeah, I did. I think, yes, the wants and the needs as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of where people get off, or it can get sticky in manifesting this, they feel like they get stuck, is because so often we are trained to put what we want on a list, and often I think we skip our needs. And for me, when I teach this, I'm actually writing a book about how to manifest, the partner of your dreams. And what I talk a lot about is how our needs are number one. Like, we need to ask for what we need. Both because we can't get what we need until we ask for it, like basic LOA. We can't, but often people put these things on the list of what they want, and they hope they'll get what they need. And this is very unconscious. I don't think anyone says like, I'm just going to put my wants on a list, but we're very trained to put our wants, because as sort of an overall society, we're not trained, or we get it trained out of us to ask for what we need and to be really conscious of what we need. And there are things that we need as humans, and everyone is different in a relationship, to feel happy and fulfilled and to really feel like we are being supported and our needs are valid. But very often we get consumed with the wants and we forget about the needs.
And even that we're even allowed to ask for those, allowed
right?
to ask for what we need. So
Yeah.
you're the only one that's going to give yourself that permission. No one outside of you is going to say you're allowed to ask for what you need. Other than Cassie and I, we're going to tell you that right now.
Right. Every time. Ask for what you want and need.
And need, yes. And would you agree that what you need, kind of, if we were to generalize it, is all about you feeling supported?
Yeah, I think that's a good generalization. Yeah.
Okay, so what you need to feel supported, fully supported in your relationship. Fully loved and supported. Actually, that's funny. That's one of my favorite affirmations that I use, is that I script, is I am fully supported and surrounded by love. And before I had anyone, it was, the universe has me. I'm fully supported. And then, but that starts to train that into me, or condition that into me. Yeah.
One of mine was, I am so grateful. I'm so well taken care of.
Yeah. I love it. So, and another way I kind of look at these, when I was doing this work, I kind of thought of them as non-negotiables or deal breakers.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, and those are going to be, just like Cass said, different for everybody. But I do think it's really important for you to understand what those are for you.
Yes. Because they are going to be different for everybody. And it's a new process. So often, as humans, our needs, we hope that our needs got met from the time we were born, and that just isn't always the reality. And so this is a very new thing. I need somebody to, call and check in. That could be a need. I need somebody, and that could be definitely something someone else does not want, right?
I don't like to text.
Right. I need somebody who's willing to call, or, I'm trying to think of other needs.
I think when I think of these, mine were more about, and like, I need someone who's open. Talk about vulnerability.
Yes.
I need someone, like, vulnerability and openness is a non-negotiable for me. If someone's not willing to grow, then I don't, or not ready, willing or ready. If that's not like a value to them, then we're not going to match up very long, because it's so important to me.
I need deep connection. I need
Yes.
a connection that is generally involves words.
So communication.
Yeah, communication, but it's not
Yes.
just communicating the things. It's really that depth of conversation. It's about
Yes.
life and about dreams, and I need to be exploring that, and I need to be just having those conversations. That for me was a huge need.
Yeah, me too. Having deep conversations. I actually see that on a lot of my clients' lists that we do. And what was another one for me was, travel. You talked about that last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily travel. It's adventurous. I need someone who's adventurous.
I love that. And
what
I think
do
that
you
was
think?
important for you to
Go
kind
ahead.
of find that distinction, right? At one point.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because you can have an adventure in the middle of COVID and,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And it was really interesting because I had people telling me that Lisa didn't like to travel before I knew her. And so
That's so funny.
it is funny. And then, like, when I got to know her, she's like, I love to travel. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, bonus. Then
Right?
also, of course,
Yeah, of course.
what was I going to say? I was going to ask about something, one of the non-negotiables, or anyways, I lost it.
I need somebody who wants to create abundance. Like, and that for me
Yes.
really is financial growth and freedom, because that is just, obviously, it's at the core of who I am, and not because it's about
Yeah.
money, but because that energy, for me, that growth represents my own growth,
Yeah.
It represents opening up to what's possible, what's more, what do I want to create, all of these things. And so I need somebody who wants to be financially conscious. I have that, and wants to grow, right? Who wants to have more and become more in terms of financially, and who wants to invest in their happiness versus, just spending.
Yeah. That's fun, because that's not something that I would have ever put on my needs. It comes out in other ways, like someone who values living life to the fullest, like that wants to live, that wants to be alive, and that like gets it, that this life is more than just about what we can see. There's some of my needs. This was actually funny because in the discovering, and you guys can do this work as much, like, do it more than once, because as the more you know yourself, the more you're clear about what these are. This was something for me, like, what am I trying to say? This became clear and clear in terms of words the more and more I tried to label what it was. And actually, I still don't even know if I fully could label it, but it was just like a feeling, a sense of something, some connection beyond, and understanding beyond what we can talk about. It's like that thing that is beyond what you can describe, that love that's beyond what you can describe. And it took a while to for me to understand what that was. But then I will say it was obvious when it showed up. I'm like, oh, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally. And what I love when you were saying going, like doing this more than once. It's because when we know ourselves more, we often, if you can hear the printer in the background, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When we know ourselves more and we start meeting our own needs, a lot of those things fall off the list, I tend to find with people, because very often in the beginning, if you're new to sort of this type of work or really discovering and exploring yourself, what will go on that list in the beginning for a lot of people are almost what the things that the holes that they want filled.
Yes.
And this isn't a bad thing. It's where you are. But as you grow and fill your own holes, go ahead.
It's the perfect thing. It's perfect to put what's going to fill your hole, because then you're going to go fill it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I do feel like the things that are on Cassie and I's needs are probably pretty common, especially with our listeners, wanting that deep connection, wanting to create abundance, wanting someone who grows. And so how now can we practice being that person? And I'm just going to give an example of so let's say we want to be the person who grows, so that when that frustrating thing comes across our plate, we're like, oh, this is how I can grow. This is how I can be that person. And we get to take all of those opportunities to grow and to honor that desire that we want, that need for us. And then we become the person that grows with ease, or whatever that beingness is for you. And you're doing it. You're owning it.
Yes.
I think that's one of the greatest, one of the most powerful things that we can embody is because there's lots of challenges and frustrations that come up. And if we approach those with every time with like, I get to grow through this. Oh, I get to grow through this. Oh, I get to be that person. I get to practice being that person. Then you're going to shift huge. Like, you're going to powerfully step into being that person.
Being that person, which is also the person who prepares you to be in the relationship that you want to be.
Yes, so true.
Because even when you do this work, especially when you do the depth of work that I imagine our listeners will do after listening to this, if they're coaching with either one of us, they will do, that we did in terms of relationships. When you do that depth of work, there is so many growth opportunities in the beginning. I assume it will be less as time moves on, but there's just this opportunity to grow through these things as you're getting what you want, because you're bringing two energies together. And so being willing to grow, because you got to practice that before you get in the relationship, so that you're really good when you get in the relationship, because there's so many opportunities to grow and to be yourself and to reevaluate, okay, who am I being? Is this what I want? Am I being who I want in this situation? What do I need to ask for? What do I want? All of these things, you get that opportunity because you've asked for this depth. And with that depth request that you have made comes an opportunity to grow deeply with your partner once they're here.
Yep. I want to say something else about this, but it just slipped my mind. Oh, yeah. When you do this growth work consciously before you are looking for your person or you meet your partner, you get to know what it feels like to be you before you have another person's energy in there that is really important to you, and like that's intertwining, right? And so when you get to practice being the person that grows, and you know what that feels like, and you are resonating with that, and you are connected to that, and you're grounded in that, and then you take that into a relationship, and then something comes up, you have a base, you have a foundation, and that helps the couple tremendously when you each have that. But even if it's just one person who has that, because then you have some sort of something to relate to, you have some grounding there, and so you know what it's supposed to feel like, versus trying to learn that and like having the other energy there so close to you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so good. I love it. We've gotten very not far off of where we started, but I love it. I don't actually think this is where either of us meant to go today, but I love it because this is what, and knowing that this, if you're not in a relationship yet, knowing these things that we're telling you, I think gives you more inspiration, more like, oh, okay, this is why I'm getting through this stuff now. This is why I keep going. This is why I keep growing. Because I'm going to use this. And for me, that's exciting to know. Yeah. And if you are in a relationship, you can always come back and you can always become more of you. You can always do the work on you and shift your relationship.
Mm-hmm. One part of me wants to dive into vulnerability, and one part, I think let's just touch on it because I feel like we could do a whole episode on it in a whole bunch of different ways. But I just think the beingness, so being vulnerable, is something that is underlying of a lot of the things we want. So when we're making that list, or even with our wants and our needs, we're saying, you know, oftentimes I want to be appreciated, I want to be loved, I want to feel safe, I want to feel secure, I want to be trusted, these kind of things. That actually all comes down to you being vulnerable, because when you can be yourself and not be afraid of what might come from that, what judgment, what hurt might come from that, then you're really taking care of yourself. Then you know you got you, and it creates this strength within you. You know, we can't be scared to be ourselves and expect someone to love us for who we are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we cannot, I'm going to reiterate, we can't be scared to be ourselves and expect someone to love us for who we are.
Yeah. It's this, it's kind of, it goes back down to like the self-acceptance thing, like true. You know, when people say, yeah, I love myself. Okay, I believe you, but like this is deep. This is like, I don't just love myself. I am love. I accept myself fully for all of who I am. And if you guys can get, that's what we're after in a relationship. That is the most juicy, amazing feeling when someone looks at you and like fully loves and accepts you for who you are, even when you don't.
Yeah.
That's the most amazing feeling. But you do have to find that first on some level.
Yes, absolutely. So I think we can do a whole episode on vulnerability.
Yeah.
So should we pivot and just kind of come back to, you know, how you can be this with your friends and family?
Yes. Be vulnerable.
Oh yeah. You could definitely be vulnerable with your friends and family, right?
Yeah. And that's the best place to be.
Yeah.
They have to love you.
Right? It's a great place to practice. It came up on a call this week. You know, one of my clients was needing to have a conversation with her sister. And, you know, we talked about it. And like, you know, it was about having a conversation, not really about the thing that was the conversation, right? And so it's a great place to practice. It's a great place to start asking for what you need and for what you want in terms of your relationships, right? It's a great place to your friends and family set the boundaries, choose what you want to do. You know, really evaluate for you if you are, you know, if the give and take feels good to you. Do you feel like you give to a relationship what you get out of it, or what you want out of it, right? Because if not, you get to shift that. Okay, I can step back a little bit. I can let myself off the hook. I can ask for more of what I need. I can, however that looks, right? And really start engaging more with the things that you want, the things that are on your list, and step back from sort of those have-tos.
That's an amazing place to start or to focus on. So I guess kind of to wrap up, the past 2 episodes is understanding the difference between wants and needs and clarifying those for yourself, and then identifying how you can embody those, how you can be that person, and how you can receive that thing. And if you make that your focus, you are going to be a great partner, and you're going to manifest a great partner.
Yes, and be willing to ask for what you need as much as you're willing to ask for what you want.
Awesome. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Hey, it's Ginny here. Have you ever questioned, when is that thing you want coming? Like, how close am I really to manifesting it? You know your alignment is the key to manifesting what you want, but how can you measure this alignment? Well, I have something for you. I created a simple 2-minute quiz. Pop over to my website, ginnygane.com, and take the alignment quiz so you can find out how much time you're spending in alignment and how close you are to getting what you really want. That's ginnygane.com. Have fun with it.
Go be awesome! Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.